This is Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. On the show, we'll take your questions and give you the tools you need to build trust and intimacy with your partner. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor. I'm a registered clinical counsellor and psychotherapist, and I'm really passionate about helping couples navigate the challenges that we all go through. Because after all, every relationship encounters some stormy weather now and then. Welcome back to Ask a Couples Counsellor. Today, we're tackling a topic that can be both exciting and challenging: introducing a new partner to your kids. We'll start with Alex from Sydney, who's wondering how to navigate this delicate situation. We'll explore how to prepare your children, choose the right time, and create a comfortable environment for everyone involved. It's all about making the transition as smooth as possible for your little ones, and we'll give you practical tips to do just that. Next, we'll discuss the importance of establishing boundaries with an ex when kids are involved. We'll talk about the importance of clear communication, prioritizing your children, and keeping things professional. And finally, we'll explore the challenge of building an amicable co-parenting relationship after a difficult breakup. We'll delve into why this is crucial for your children's well-being and share strategies for moving forward in a more positive and constructive way. Whether you're introducing a new partner, setting boundaries with an ex, or trying to create a peaceful co-parenting environment, today's episode is packed with insights to help you navigate these tough situations with grace and understanding. All right, let's get into it. Our first question for today comes from Alex in Sydney. Let's have a listen to Alex's question.
How do you introduce a new partner to your kids?
That's a great question, Alex. Introducing a new partner to your kids can be a very delicate process. You need to have a bit of a thoughtful approach to it. How I would tackle this is to prepare your kids first. So before the introduction, talk to your children about your new partner in an age-appropriate way. So explain who they are and why you're excited about the new relationship. An example of this might be that you can say to your kids, "Hey kids, I want to introduce you to someone special I've been seeing. His name or her name is X, and they're really nice. We'll be having lunch together this Saturday, and I think you'll enjoy meeting him or her. And if you have any questions or thoughts or feelings, feel free to share them with me. I'm quite open to hearing how you feel about them." The other thing that you need to do is to choose the right time. So try and arrange a casual, low-pressure meeting, because a relaxed setting like a family outing or a simple meal can help everyone feel comfortable. The third thing that you could do is to keep it low-key. So don't put too much emphasis on the introduction. Let the meeting be natural and allow your kids to interact with your partner at their own pace. So don't try and push them, just let it unfold naturally. And be supportive. Being attentive to your children's feelings and reactions is very important. Address any concerns that they might have and reassure them that they are a priority in your life. Because remember that kids don't want to feel like somebody else is coming into your life and they've become your priority. So you need to provide that reassurance that they are your priority. And encourage interaction. So facilitate activities that allow your partner and your kids to bond. Things like shared interests or fun activities can help build a connection with your new partner. Give your children some time to adjust and get to know your partner, because building a relationship with your kids takes time and consistent effort. So be patient with that process and try and maintain open communication. So keep the lines of communication open with your kids and your partner, and regularly check in with both to ensure that everyone's comfortable, and try to address any issues that arise. All right, let's move on to our next question for today. Our next question comes from David in Newcastle, and let's have a listen to David's question.
What advice do you have for establishing boundaries with an ex when you have kids together?
Great question, David. Look, establishing boundaries with an ex when you have kids involves clear communication and mutual respect. And I'll give you some tips on how you can do this. Firstly, communicate clearly. So discuss and agree on boundaries openly with your ex. Be as clear as possible about what is acceptable and what isn't. And focusing on the well being of your children would be the best thing to do. Secondly, prioritize the kids. So keep conversations and decisions centered on what's best for your children and avoid involving them in any adult conflicts or using them as intermediaries because that's not effective for the kids. Thirdly, set consistent rules. Try and maintain consistent rules and routines for your children across both households. Look, I know this can be hard, but as much as possible, communicate with your ex and try and see if you can both maintain consistent rules and routines for your child across both households, because this will provide the kids with more stability and avoid any confusion. The fourth thing that you can do is limit contact to necessities. So restrict communication with your ex to matters directly related to the children, such as school events or medical issues, and use written communication as much as possible, like email or text, to keep records and reduce any kind of misunderstandings that may arise. The other thing that you could do is respect privacy. So avoid discussing personal matters or new relationships with your ex. Maintain boundaries around personal life and respect theirs. And try and be professional. So approach interactions with your ex in a professional manner. And keep discussions polite and focused on co parenting responsibilities. The other thing that you could do is to establish a co parenting plan. If you don't already have this, develop a clear co parenting plan that outlines custody arrangements, schedules, and other important details, because this can help prevent any disputes and ensure that both parents are on the same page. And if this is proving to be too hard, then consider seeking the help of a mediator or a counselor to facilitate discussion and find mutually agreeable solutions. I know that I do this with some of my couples, so if this is something that you need to do, by all means seek help because that will be really beneficial for you and your ex. I hope that answers your question, David. All right, let's get into our last question for today, which comes from Jamie in Toowoomba. Let's have a listen to Jamie's question.
My question is, how do you build an amicable co-parenting relationship with an ex if things ended badly? And why is this important to do?
Great question, Jamie. So let's talk about why this is important. Creating an amicable co-parenting relationship is crucial because it directly affects your children's emotional and psychological health. Children thrive in environments where both parents can cooperate, even if they're no longer together, because it reduces their stress and it helps them feel secure, loved, and supported by both parents. And additionally, it sets a positive example for how to handle conflicts and relationships maturely. Because remember that your children are learning from you and your partner. So, how you handle conflicts and relationships is what they will learn. So, always keep the kids' best interest at the forefront. And both parents should prioritize their emotional and physical well being over past conflicts. Secondly, I would say set clear boundaries. Establish clear boundaries regarding communication and interactions, and agree on how and when to discuss co parenting matters. And keeping things respectful and focused on the kids is always helpful. Thirdly, I would say communicate effectively. So even if emotions are still raw, work on communicating in a calm, non confrontational manner. And try and use written communication if verbal discussions tend to escalate. And stick to topics related purely to the children, not about each other. Fourth, consistency in parenting and reliability in commitments are key. And by being dependable, you can help to create a stable environment for your children, which can also build trust with your ex over a period of time. The other thing that I would say is if this isn't working very well for you, seek mediation or counseling Because if things are too difficult to communicate without conflict, consider involving a mediator or a counselor to help you both navigate co-parenting discussions and develop a plan that works best for everyone. And I know this one's easier said than done, but try and let go of the past. Try to separate your role as a co-parent from your past relationship. Because remember that holding on to resentment can hinder cooperation. So focus on moving forward for the sake of your kids, even if that's not something that you want. Keep the children as the focus. And lastly, I would say celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and appreciate any positive steps or improvements in your co-parenting relationship. Small gestures of cooperation can help rebuild trust and create a more positive environment. So let me give you an example of this. Say if your ex makes an effort to accommodate a schedule change that you requested, you might say something like, "I really appreciate you being flexible with the schedule this weekend. It made a big difference, so thank you." You can text this to your ex because these acknowledgements help reinforce positive behaviors and build a more positive, cooperative co-parenting dynamic. I hope that answers your question. All right, that's it for today. And before I go, if you have any burning questions and you want them answered, send them to novoempowercounselling@gmail.com. Let's navigate this journey together because better relationships start with understanding. I can't wait to hear from you. You've been listening to Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. This show is produced by Novo Empower Counselling. We provide a range of services, including couples counselling, individual counselling, and online counselling. To find out more, visit our website novoempowercounselling.com.au. This show was produced with strategy and production support from Wavelength Creative. To make sure you don't miss an episode of Ask a Couples Counsellor, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, I'd love it if you could leave me a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor, and I'll see you in the next episode.